Hi, I'm Andreas, but who cares? So, for those of you who looked at my top 20 list, you're probably wondering, where's Les Misérables? And with that I say, I know it's talked about a lot. I know it's really big. I mean, everywhere I look, it's Les Mis this and Les Mis that. And truth be told, it really pissed me off. But I decided to look at this movie anyways because Tom Hooper did it, and he did The King's Speech, which I loved. Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman were getting huge praise for this, and I never really cared for either, but I want to care for them, so why not? And Sacha Baron Cohen's in it, which for some reason pulled me in. You're not going to take me seriously anymore, are you? So I finally got to watching Les Misérables, and I thought it was good. Just good. Just good. I mean, okay. I will talk about what's good first, because I know you're all going to castrate me if I don't. What's good? The acting is fantastic. Anne Hathaway is brilliant, despite being barely in the movie. Hugh Jackman was absolutely wonderful. Except I feel like he kind of capped at the beginning and at the end. In the middle, he was just good, but he was brilliant as kind of the bookends of the movie, at the start and at the finish. And most of the actors did a good job. Helena Bonham Carter and Sacha Baron Cohen were great comedic relief, but I felt like the characters were flat. They were just evil. They were just evil. That's it. They were just evil. They're just evil just to be evil. Jean Valjean, you see him stealing things. Why? To survive. And you know he doesn't want to steal things, but he has to because he's got no other way of surviving. And Fantine, you see her whoring herself out, but she doesn't like it. You see her crying and being emotionally distressed just because she wants to look after her kid. So you see that they really don't want to do these crimes, but they have to survive in such a troubling time. With these two jokers, they're jesters, that's all they are, they're jesters of the movie. You don't feel sorry for them, because they're just evil for the sake of being evil. I mean, yes, you could see that the times were tough and they needed to get by somehow, but you still felt no remorse for them because the entire time it was just them being evil. And I mean, they could have shown another side to them, but they didn't. The movie makers didn't. So before I dive into what I didn't like about this movie, I'm just gonna Russell Crowe. What is up with him?
Now prisoner 24601.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he does a good job. He really does do a good job. But it's like he's in a completely different movie. I mean, look at this!
This badge of shame, you'll show it till you die. It warns you're a dangerous man.
I stole a loaf of bread. My sister's child was close to death. We were starving.
You'll starve again unless you learn the meaning of the law.
Yeah.
Know the meaning of
Everybody
those
else is
19
classically trained and he's
years of the law.
fronting a 70s rock band.
5 years for what you did. The rest because you tried to run.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the reason for this? Why did he stand out so much? There were a lot of poor directing decisions. Let's get the most obvious one out of the way. The editing. The editing was horrendous! You couldn't tell what was going on! You had to think during this movie, and I have no problem with thinking during a movie. I've established that enough. But there's a difference between thinking about character and motivation and the story and the plot and the metaphysics of it all. There's a difference between thinking of that and asking, did he go up the rope or did he go down the freaking rope? You're not supposed to think of that. Really? You have to think about what the character is doing? Not why he's doing it, what he's doing! The editing was terrible because here's the issue. The visuals were actually beautiful. So many shots were gorgeous, but the editing was so fast that you couldn't see what was going on. There was no establishing shots. It was just, oh, there's a chipmunk over here, and now there's over here. Oh, no, he's right in your face. Ah. Yeah. Well, what did you learn from that? Mine probably had more story to it than theirs. Because at least mine was consistent. Mine was a chipmunk in all the areas. Theirs was different things. They'd be in a room and then there'd be other people coming within like 3 seconds. It'd show 5 different things. At weird angles and close-ups. There were so many close-ups. I don't know what you're thinking. Isn't there another movie that had a lot of fast editing and close-ups? Yeah. Requiem for a Dream. But you know what? It works with that movie! Because it created the anxiety and all of the close-ups were still and not tilted and not with a fish-eye lens! All of the close-ups established what was going on. Oh, look, the pupils are dilating. They're stoned. Oh, look, he's snorting things. With Les Mis, you didn't know what was going on. And I'm serious. I've seen it twice now, and there's still some parts that confuse the hell out of me. You shouldn't leave a movie confused about the basic necessities of getting by in a movie. And that's my biggest complaint, and it's unfortunate because the editing is so jarring. And like I said, most of the time it's so fast. So when you get to the climactic battle sequence, you don't give a shit. You really don't give a shit because the fighting is the exact same speed and tempo and editing style as everything else. It doesn't stand out. You know what does stand out though? A few of the song numbers, in particular Anne Hathaway's. Because the editing finally stops snorting coke and is very steady and a single shot. And it's beautiful. It's actually beautiful. It's the scale this movie should have been the entire time. A movie this big, about a play this huge, about a story this renowned, should have been epic. It should have been huge with the wars and the suffering. But the fast editing makes it shallow. This scene was fantastic. And you know what the biggest issue was? It was the best scene in the entire movie. About a third of the way in. In fact, I don't even think it was a third. Maybe it was even a quarter. I mean, this was really close to the beginning of the movie, and this scene pops out and everybody starts crying their eyes out in the theater. I mean, this was really close to the beginning of the movie, and this scene pops out and everybody starts crying their eyes out in the theater. Well, you know what I thought, and everybody I came with thought? We're never going to see a scene like this again, are we? Nope! And the worst part is they have the audacity to try and replicate it again with other song numbers. And yes, they're well acted too. And yes, they're sad and unfortunate too. But you can't compete with what you just saw! You can't compete with Anne Hathaway! And that's weird because I never thought I'd have to say those words. It's like, that scene works really well, so let's do it again, and it's not gonna have the same effect. Not just because of the repetition, and how sorely they stick out of the fast, ugly editing, but because you can't compete with easily the best scene in the movie. The scene that's going to give a 15-minute performance undeniably an Oscar. You can't compete with that! And it's just so unbalanced. They had such an epic scene at the beginning. That spoke more to me than the war scenes every single song number is like its own music video. Yeah, every song number is like its own music video. Where you'll have a song number with sunshine and gothic imagery, which is a brilliant contrast actually. Well done. That's no sarcasm there. That was actually really nice. And then soon enough you'd have what felt like a scene from a live action Raggedy Ann movie or something. And then you'd have like running shots during this one musical number that were like the shots of the kids in Tree of Life. Hi, why? And then you just have another one that's like watching The Patriot, the musical. And then one part looked like a Christmas greeting card. What's up with that? But at the same time, it's bad to do this, but it's also kind of nice. I kind of liked it when they did that. And I shouldn't because, again, there's no unity. It's so unbalanced. There's nothing of consistency there. But it's kind of nice because, in the end, why do I like this movie? Apart from its wonderful acting, the music. The music is phenomenal. The music is great. The music is moving. The music is memorable. And the best part is, 99% of the movie is music. They probably speak like 10 lines in the entire movie. So, with the terrible editing, the shots that just don't make any sense even though they should be beautiful, the odd performance that really stands out too much, as if they were fronting Kiss or something. The music ties everything up. This one movie is just a really long visual soundtrack, and if you look at it through that perspective, you might really enjoy this movie. And that's what made me enjoy this movie. Just the soundtrack tying everything up. And I can't hate on this movie too much because of the experiments they tried with one of the hardest musicals to film. I mean, the fact that they sung on the floor with earpieces that fed them piano lines to keep them on key was genius. Yeah, it was genius. It was a genius decision. And the fact that they didn't orchestrate the music before the singing was done or recorded, they recorded the music afterwards to fit the pacing and the unexpected emotions that these actors had. So you can physically hear the music channeling the actors, not the actors channeling the music. And that was really cool, actually. So, to wrap things up, almost everything in front of the camera was superb. Almost everything behind the camera was god-awfully annoying. But I can't hate on their decisions because the movie's not pretentious, because Les Misérables is one of the biggest stories of all time. It's huge. I had to study it in school, and I was blown away even when I used to not read. Is it clearly obvious? So it's not pretentious. It was just a couple of really bad, honest mistakes, which were backed up by some really well done experiments. The singing on the floor, working with Anne Hathaway in such certain ways where it made her kind of like the more personal heart of the movie, working with whatever Hugh Jackman did to lose so much weight and be so ill. Just so much hard work and heart went into this movie, and that's why I can't hate it. And I don't even dislike it either. I do really like a lot of parts of the movie. There are some parts that really stick out so much. And then there are a lot of things that are just ugly about it too. This is kind of 2012's Avatar, except without the terrible story. There's a lot of innovation here that really works out, and a lot of it that I kind of have to take away. With Avatar, it was the terrible story. With Les Mis, it was some of the post-production decisions that just really didn't fit. So on the whole, I'm going to give Les Mis 7.3 out of 10. I mean, I took so much from the movie that really moved me, And in the end, the story's fantastic, so at least that works. There were just a lot of things that took away from the movie that really, really killed it. This could have been so much bigger of a movie, which is weird because of how many people are speaking about it already. So, that's pretty much it. For those of you who have seen Les Mis, and if you haven't seen Les Mis, why are you watching this? Because spoilers. What did you guys think? I don't know, share what you want about this movie. And that's pretty much it, so until next time, I'll see you later.